Welcome to Deadly Dames. So we're just doing a really quick review on Black Christmas and Black Xmas. So we recently asked people to sort of pick what they would like us to review, and the majority of people picked Black Christmas, which is a absolute classic slasher film. It actually came before Halloween, so technically it is the one that kind of started it all. What are you doing?
You're jiggling.
Oh, I'm jiggling. Sorry. We're actually balancing this on the bed because it's so late. But yeah, so we watched Black Christmas. Was it Saturday night? And I'd had one too many Jack Daniels, so you probably watched more than what I did with it. But I've seen this movie a million times, and it's funny because for anybody out there who hasn't seen Black Christmas, the sort of basic of the storyline is a group of sorority girls, sisters, yeah, and their alcoholic house mother, and it's Christmas time, and majority of them have gone home, and we're kind of left with a band of girls who haven't gone home or don't really want to go home and things like that. And the sort of premise of the story is that one of them is, and again there might be some spoilers in this, but one of them has disappeared. Now us as the audience know what's happened to her, but the characters in the movie don't. And her dad turns up to pick her up, and we're kind of following them, trying to go to the police and trying to report her as missing. But at the same time there's also a local younger girl that's missing, and they're trying to find out what's going on with that. And the girls at the sorority house are receiving freaky, obscene telephone calls. And that's kind of where the movie goes from there. Years and years ago, my sister's terrified of this movie, and the main reason why is because she made the mistake, and we'd seen the movie loads of times, but she made the mistake of falling asleep whilst watching this. And there's one particular scene in this movie with an eyeball that she woke up at, and if you've watched this film, you'll know exactly what I mean, and it traumatised her. And if I fell asleep and woke up at that scene, it would traumatise me too. It would traumatise you as well.
It is creepy though. See, what I think makes this film so scary is that you don't really get a background story for the killer, which I like, because a lot of the time you get a really cheesy origin story, and that's what the whole film's about, or half the film will be like a bit of a background story. And you know something, the scariest thing is what you don't know. So you get hints to what might be the backstory, and you have to make it up for yourself from the things that he says when he's making these freaky phone calls. And he seems to be really good at copying like women's
he's
voices
like a bird,
and babies' voices and noises, and that's what makes him really
know how birds can mimic people's voices. That's what I think he's like.
It makes him even more faceless. Like, you don't even know what he sounds like, and all you ever see of him is an eye, and it's creepy as hell.
But I think that's effective in this movie. You don't need to. I like movies that leave stuff to your imagination, and I like films that don't make out like their audience are absolutely stupid and they have to be baby fed the whole storyline and flashbacks. I hate flashbacks because you're no stupid. You can remember that happened before. And I love this movie because it's a very simple idea, but it's effective in the way that they do it because they treat their audience like they're actual clever and they're not idiots. And you don't need
the need to tell you everything.
But I like that because you can.
I like that, and they don't feel the need to. I mean, seeing a film that might have been bigger budget or a bit more kind of Hollywood, then they probably would have said to me, "You can't make a film like this and not do an origin story. People are going to want to see what the killer looks like, or they're going to want to see more of the killer, and they'll want to see a bit more of his story and who he is and where he came from." But then if this was made before Halloween, it would have been before like the franchise horror film took off. In franchise horror films, there's always an origin story.
Well, not to start with. I mean, Halloween didn't have it, and Friday the 13th didn't really have it.
Sort of have an origin.
Yeah, but it didn't spell it out like modern movies do.
Halloween, where you see everything.
But I love Black Christmas because it's set. As Claire said, it's before the traditional "this is a slasher" movie came about, so it was different. It knew. I mean, it didn't try to spoon feed. Oh yeah, because he is a killer. You know, he is stalking and slashing.
It isn't about the gore. It's about the terror that there's this person that's stalking them, he's basically hunting them and picking them off. They have
and it's
no
funny
idea where he is, who he is, or when he's going to strike next.
I mean, I think this movie's got a very similar idea to when a stranger to the story When a Stranger Calls.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's a babysitter and with the kids in the house, but the killer's in the house, and nobody knows the killer's in the house. And I think there's just something so scary about that idea of, because your house is, stupid, cheesy saying, but your home is where your heart is. But it is, like, your home is where everybody's comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's where when you finish work, you're like, I want to go home. And I know they're a sorority house, but you want to feel safe in that place. And there's something still so primal and scary about thinking somebody's invading your private, comfortable space. And I just think this movie does it perfectly. It ends perfectly as well. Like, I don't want to give away the ending to anyone, but I quite enjoy movies that don't feel like they need a definitive ending. They leave a bit for you.
What I like about the ending is you can sort of decide for yourself what might have happened once the film finished. And I like that, but I think what's creepy about and also really real about the ending is that a lot of people in a similar situation would have probably done the same thing as like John Saxon's character, and I'll not give anything away, but there'll be bits that some people might be annoyed at the ending, but I think realistically with all the chaos that's happening, everybody would do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I love the characters in this movie as well, because they're so different. And
well, they're kind of normal. I mean,
I love Barb's character. I know. I'll go what she called.
Well, that's the name of the character.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the actress.
Margot Kidder.
Margot Kidder. We just got her
blooming
autograph.
She's just in every single scene, and she even gets a kid drunk.
I know, but remember she's at the police station and she gives them the number. It's funny.
Uh-huh.
But everybody knows somebody like that. Let's face it, somebody that's like a bit of an arse, but
the
funny.
Lassies in it, they seemed like real characters. You know, they weren't all like, you know, they all had their issues and their problems. They weren't all like perfectly happy from rich families and they were ultra glamorous. You know, they all had their own individual problems. Like, as much as they were sorority sisters, they all had their own lives. They weren't like carbon copies.
They weren't.
Like,
they weren't like stupid.
The sorority.
They weren't like stupid teeny bopper, like in modern kind of horror films where somebody's always got to get their boobs out, and and there's always got to be that sex scene. And yeah, you enjoy watching that in a slasher movie, but this type of movie does not need it because it's clever in the way that it does things, and it sets a lot of what do you call that when they have like somebody who you think's the killer? You know the word I'm looking for, but they have a lot of like, they set you up thinking that other characters are the killer, and obviously it's really bugging me. If anybody can think of what that word is, let me remind me what it is. But I love movies like that. Then what we did is, after watching the amazing Black Christmas, which if you have never seen, you have to get this movie and watch it. And it also, on that note, why hasn't there been a decent Blu-ray release in the UK? Somebody should probably do it, because Black Christmas is, in my opinion, one of the best, and I'm going to call it a slasher film, one of the best slasher films out there.
But see, what's a shame, right, is that nobody will ever release this any other time of the year. So if there was going to be a decent Blu-ray release, it would have been like round about now. So if it's not round about now, it might even be next year. And if it's not next year, it'll be a whole year after that.
Well, not necessarily, because Arrow Video released Christmas Evil and Silent Night Deadly Night in like October time. So,
but at least it was close to Christmas. I mean, before Halloween, all the Christmas stuff's out in the shops, so that's maybe not that unusual. So
after watching the amazing Black Christmas, a few people had suggested that we did Black Xmas and compared them, and we weren't going to do it, but we just finished watching Black Xmas. Well, I watched it last night and you fell asleep, so I had to watch the ending again, which, by the way, happens all the time. So I think I've seen the ending of movies more than any other part of movie, because she always falls asleep. So we finished watching this, and this isn't a bad movie, to be honest. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, because it is like a hack slash type film, but I do like that they pulled over similar characters from the original Black Christmas. Like, you've got the drunk lassie and stuff like that, and you've got all the dramas, but instead of it being I don't want to give away what the drama is in the first one, but instead of it being that, it's boyfriend drama in this one. What I don't like about this one is the backstory. I get why they've got it. I get why they put it in there. I didn't really care about the backstory. I thought it was more effective that you didn't really know much about the killer, but modern audiences don't seem to have much of a imagination when it comes to stuff like that, and they just want it spelt out for them. At least that's what filmmakers think, because that's what they do with all their films. My biggest flaw in it, and it sounds awful saying this because, now what's her name? Is it Katie Cassidy? Yeah, I've seen Katie Cassidy in quite a few things, and the girl doesn't really bother me. But in this movie, I don't know, she's very wooden, and she annoyed me when she was trying to be like, oh, when she was on the phone to the killer, and she's like, oh, you're up in the loft, or whatever the fuck it is she says. It's no loft, what is it she says in the attic?
Something like that.
But it's like she's trying to be tough, but she can't be tough, and I was like, I do not care about this character, and she's the one that you're supposed to be rooting for. Also, it's got two endings, and I just didn't think it needed two endings.
I think none of the characters you really get to know well enough to care about them, and even the way, I think it's just the way the characters have been written. Like, one of them has, well, she finds out that somebody's basically made a sex tape of her, and she didn't know about it, but she finds out during the film that it was made. And I think because you know this thing has happened to her, that it's supposed to make you like her more, but it doesn't really work. But I think it's because you don't really get to know anything else about her.
Do you know what it is? There's too many characters in this movie. That's the problem.
I mean, the original one, you didn't really get to know every single one of them.
In my opinion,
they really focused on maybe about 3.
Well, that's what I was going to say. In my opinion, in this particular movie, there was 3 characters which I really liked, and they weren't used properly, and that was like obviously Dawn, like Buffy's sister, because that's all she'll ever be.
She'll always be
Dawn, the lassie that
ends up blutered and
not her. The one that ends up under the house, Data, I think her name, or Dana, a character's name is, and then the one that's actually from Final Destination 3, and she's also Mary Elizabeth Winston. Those 3 characters, I would have liked to have seen more of. I've just taken everybody else out of it. The whole, basically this storyline to this, and I'll tell you really quickly because we're running out of time, is that they do a whole backstory with a kid with jaundice, and his parents don't like him, and his mum abuses him, and then she has another daughter, and then he gets revenge, and now this sorority group's staying in the house where he grew up, and he's escaped from a mental institution, and he's making his way back there. But they set up pretty early on that there might be 2 killers, because and again, spoilers here, but it's in the advert if you watch it, so I'm not giving too much away. But they set up pretty early on that there could be 2 killers, because certain things are happening whilst other things are happening, and, well, there's got to be 2. And my biggest fault with this movie is too many characters. Didn't really believe in the final girl, if I'm honest with you.
No.
And 2 endings. Didn't need 2 endings. There's some fantastic scenes in this, like the first ending scene where she's between the walls. I really loved that scene.
I just try to get out from when one of the characters has to basically knock the drywall into
to try and get her out. And some of the death scenes were pretty horrific.
It was quite brutal though, compared to, I mean, you didn't really see the full killings in the original one, but in this one it was quite brutal.
But I suppose when it comes to remakes, you've got to step it up a little bit. And as I said, Black Xmas is a guilty pleasure, so I do actually enjoy the film. But if you're going to be watching one of them this year, make it the original Black Christmas, because this movie's the classic. This one's the one to watch.
Yeah.
But if you're up for something with loads of blood and gore, watch Black Xmas. If you want something that's used its storyline the way that a slasher movie should use its storyline, go for Black Christmas. So, run out of time, but as always, hopefully you've liked this review. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and take care.